it will inform how we learn from the Word of God. The agenda today will be very simple. We'll be starting off with why money matters. Then I'll get into a short debrief of what being rooted versus reckless actually means. And then we look at the guiding principles when it comes to financial management. And finally, we'll close off with now the practical steps, and I'll allow an engagement session for Q&A with you, and then we can give our takeaways after that. So straight into it, why does money matter? And why is it important for us to have a knowledge of how to handle our finances? But first of all, why is money even important? I found this interesting quote from the book Christ Object Lessons, page 351. It says that money has great value because it can do great good in the hands of God's children. It, it can do great good. So, in the hands of God's children, it is food for the hungry, drink for the thirsty, and clothing for the naked. And it is a defense for those who are oppressed and a means to help those who are sick. But there's a disclaimer. This money is of no more value than sand, only as it is put to the use in providing the necessities of life, in blessing others, and advancing the cause of Christ. Inasmuch as money is of great import and of great value, unless it is put to doing good, then it in essence becomes null and void. And the reason why we're looking into this is because money affects all facets of our life. I mean, if you're living in this Nairobi, you know you cannot move around without money. Money is what disturbs the peace. Money is what affects relationships. Money is also what affects your mental well-being because causes the lack of it causes you to be too stressed out, or too much of it will actually maybe perhaps lead you to making impulsive and wrong decisions that could lead to problems that now affect you mentally. But also, more importantly, money affects the dreams that you want to pursue, the families that you want to have, and our purpose, even as a ministry. If you want to go for mission, all the things that you're planning to do, all these things require money. And the one thing that affects most people when it comes to money is the fact that either you feel you're being left behind by your peers, or you're being pressured to meet a certain standard, or you gain a lot of anxiety when you don't think you have enough of that money. Our guiding verse for our sharing this evening is Jeremiah 17:7-8. I love this particular verse, and it's actually been my grounding verse for this year because it defines how I want to lead my year. I want to become more rooted in Christ. And when it says that blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. I don't know how well we read that, but for me it means I do not just trust in the Lord. My trust is actually the Lord. And that is what keeps me grounded and knowing that no matter what comes, no matter what storm passes, I will not wither, I will not falter, and I will be as a tree that is planted by the waters, such that my roots will be by the stream, and I will not fear when the heat comes, for my leaves will remain green, and I will not be anxious in the year of drought, for I will not cease to bear fruit. Why? Because my trust is in the Lord, and my trust is the Lord. And God is someone who is not faltering, He is never changing, and there's no variableness with Him. And in essence, when you lead your life in such a way, it takes away the anxiety, it takes away the feeling that you are being left behind, it takes away the feeling that you're not able to meet certain things because God is your provider. God is the one who is at the center of all that you do. And I'm hoping that this will be what will be grounding you even as we go through the discussion for this evening. So money is important. Money does affect us, but most importantly, Christ should remain at the center of everything that we do, that we shall remain rooted in Him and fully trust in Him. But He is a God who is orderly. He's a God who actually does desire our good. And He has provided principles in His Word, as you shall see, that actually guide every facet of our life, including how we manage our finances. And for Him, our knowledge of how we manage and handle our finances, essentially financial literacy, is crucial to us being fully rooted in Him. So, what does rooted versus reckless actually mean? So, being rooted for me means that I'm intentional when it comes to my finances. I act in ways that are towards my alignment. So I'm not pressured or rushed into doing certain elements. I am content in what the Lord has actually given me, and I do not go about comparing myself or seeking to live someone else's life. I am fully living the life that God has designed for me, even when it comes to finances. And then I pursue a slow, steady growth instead of quick success. Most of the pitfalls that comes with our generation is the fact that we're used to very quick things. So even when it comes to money, we are trying to get into this get rich quick schemes. Either you're getting into a Ponzi scheme, or you're trying your hand into in betting or anything that will make you become rich quickly. But the challenge with that is that you're being reckless and you're not being rooted. So I'm hoping by the end of this evening, you will have chosen to be more rooted instead of reckless. So recklessness means you're impulsive in your decisions, you act out of pressure, you're constantly comparing yourself, hence finding yourself in debt because you're trying to fit or meet someone's IG life, or this, there's someone's life you've seen and you think, oh, I need to be like that person, and you're trying to do everything, you're finding yourself in debt just to maybe sustain or maintain a fake lifestyle just for you to fit in or be able to be accepted. And the other thing is you're seeking quick success. So, in summary, intentional means you're choosing direction over speed, you're choosing alignment over pressure, choosing gratitude over comparison, and most importantly, you're choosing foundation over a flash lifestyle. So, God's desire for us is that we gain wisdom when it comes to how we manage our finances. And you'll realize all these principles of how you succeed in this life are found in His Word. Nothing that He has desired for us to achieve has He not communicated unto us. These are things that we can learn, and He has given us opportunities and different platforms for us to learn from, including His very own Word. So He desires for us to actually gain wisdom when it comes to element of managing our finances. And He says in His Word that let he who lacks wisdom ask of Him, and indeed He shall give. And once you've gained wisdom, He requires for you to now become a better steward of the things that He has bestowed upon you. And once you've learned how to be a good steward, then will you be able to attain actual freedom. We all say we are pursuing a level of financial freedom. I want to be able to, meet the lifestyle that I want. But you can only meet that once you have learned how to be a good steward of the things that have been given unto you. You've learned the art of discipline when it comes to your finances. Then and only then can you attain true freedom. And once you've attained that freedom, you'll actually realize that contentment will come so easily. Because you'll be, I have all that I need and I'm content. I am grateful. I am not comparing myself with other people because I have walked this path with the Lord and I've come to a point where I am now content in what He has given me. And I am grateful and I'm living a life of gratitude. One of my favorite quotes from Ellen White is from True Education, page 12, paragraph 5. It says that higher than the highest human thought can reach is God's ideal for His children. God does not want you to be poor, and you can quote me on that. God desires us to actually live a very good life while we're here on earth. I know this is not our final home and we are seeking to go to heaven, but as far as we're still in this world, we may not be of this world, but because we're living in this world, then He has given us the tools by which we will be able to succeed. And His thought for us is higher than even any human thought can reach. He deserves the very best for us. And he seeks that we remain rooted in him so that we're able to tap into that blessing and be able to actually attain what we call financial freedom and then finally be content. Yes, and wait for him to take us back home. Yes, so that's what rooted versus reckless means, and I'm hoping that we'll seek to be more rooted in him. So we'll get into now the practical aspects of financial literacy. And I decided to take a route of looking at it from both a faith principle and a finance principle. When you think about uh, money, and I think most people have never really maybe gone into deep into the study of the word and actually thought about how God has desired for us to manage our finances. And you'll find that the principles that he has set in his word that actually match the principles that are run in the world currently. The first principle I wanted to us to look at is the faith principle. When I speak about the faith principle, there are three things that we look at: tithing, giving, and contentment. When it comes to tithing, Malachi 3:10 tells us that we are to return to the Lord 10% of our increase. What tithing is meant to do for us, in essence, is to help us build a level of discipline. Because when this money comes in, 10% is not mine. 10% belongs to God. And what tithing does, it, it builds your faith and also shows you how to be fully dependent on God and not on yourself. And that principle is now what guides you. Because remember, we are saying we are seeking to be rooted. And the only way we can be rooted is by fully trusting in the Lord. So tithing is an act of trust, it's an act of faith. And also, in a way, it teaches you discipline. After you're done with tithing, we're told to actually now give back. You can read from Romans 12:8. It says that if we can give, we should do so generously, because it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And that the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And we're encouraged to share his precious blessings with those that lack. And I think this is where things become a bit difficult. Tithing, guys might tithe because you're like, okay, this is returning because this belongs to the Lord. It's actually returning to the Lord. It's not giving, it's returning to Him. But now giving comes now from a point of you exercising a level of abundance. You're saying, beyond just what I am returning unto you, this is what I am giving as an act of saying thank you. Because Hymn 15 says, my God, the benefits demand more praise than I can give. And a thankful heart is something that He demands, but alas, a gift, how poor for each and every one of us. The Lord desires us to come and give back to Him with a thankful heart of the blessing that He has bestowed upon us. And Romans 12:8 asks that we give generously and we give cheerfully. So this principle is something that this first to tithing and giving is something that I feel over time as you grow or as you become more of an adult, it becomes something very hard because there's so many things you need to balance out and you're feeling, oh, I'll not be able to pay my rent, or oh, I'll not be able to maybe sustain this or sustain that. But it's an act of faith and it's something that the Lord is actually working in us, and it's more of refinement of our character when it comes to the faith principle. The last thing is contentment. And on contentment, if you read First Timothy 6:1, it says that godliness with contentment is a great gain. Religion in itself might make us rich by giving us, those things that encourage and uplift us spiritually. And at times we do not see how important it is for us to actually take a step back and see all the blessings that the Lord has bestowed upon us. One thing about us as human beings is that we always focus on that one thing that you do not have. And you fail to see all the things that you actually have. I am one of the culprits. Most of the time, I'll focus on all the things that are going wrong, and I'll forget to actually take a step back and be like, oh, okay, If I actually look at it, God provided me with shelter. He gave me food. He allowed me to make it to work every other day. I will not even see all those small blessings that the Lord has bestowed upon me. I will be like, oh, but no, I don't have a car. Oh, I am not living in my own house. Or oh, I'm trying to compare my life with someone else. And it takes away the joy of the blessing that the Lord has bestowed upon us. And what First Timothy was trying to help us understand is that at times you just need to be content with what the Lord has given us, and it gives you a lot more peace. It gives you a lot more sanity, for lack of a better word, when you're able to sit and actually be grateful for what the Lord has bestowed upon you. So those are just some of the faith principles when it comes to finances. So if you're able to learn how to tithe faithfully and to give back and learn the art of contentment, you will have hacked half of what it takes for you to be financially prudent. Now, on to the finance principles, which is something that now we'll focus on for this evening. Um, the three things that are very key when it comes to you managing your finances is budgeting, saving, and investing. It's like the bread and butter of financial literacy. Budgeting is simply planning your finances and saying, okay, this is the money that I have, these are the needs that I currently have. How are these going to match? Or for lack of a better word, or how I like to actually put it, budgeting is simply telling your money where it needs to go. And then when it comes to saving now is once you have catered for all your needs, there's a percentage that you will set aside to earn an increase or basically for a rainy day. If something happens, an eventuality in the future, it's something that you put to help you be prepared for that rainy day. And then finally, investing now is, I like to reference it from Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. You remember when the Lord gave the master gave each of the servants a talent, and then the last servant was just given one, but he said, you just gave me one. I went, hid it under the sun, and it produced nothing. And the Lord was like, you could have even put it somewhere and it could have earned me interest. So you actually realize even the Lord is there for us to invest and build wealth. So investing is simply where you put money somewhere that allows you grow your wealth or grow your income. So how can we make this practical? So we said that we need to budget, we need to save, we need to invest. Most importantly, you need to type, you need to give, and learn the art of contentment. But how do all this tie together? And practically, in our day to day, how does this actually play out? So I'll give this disclaimer. Money will always disappear without direction. And that's why the most crucial thing is planning your finances. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, it will tell you where it wants to go. So the first thing, and even before I go through this, maybe I would want to do like a pulse check and just inquire from us from a scale of 1 to 5. How well do you think you're managing your finances? Or what is your financial health? Are you red? Red meaning you're not able to meet your basic needs. You're very impulsive. You're the one who buys anything that you see anywhere. You're always broke by mid-month. Or are you amber? Well, you're able to meet your needs, but you really cannot tell where your finances are going. Or you're green. Mm, your finances are good. You're meeting your needs. You have investment somewhere. You have the discipline of saving. So if you're to do a pulse check, where will you say you are? Are you green? Are you amber? Or are you red? Maybe you can hear from us, you guys, before I proceed. Acha nitolee makeni. You can put it on the chat or yes, unmute and tell us. Vivian is saying she's Amber. Thanks for sharing, Vivian. Maybe you cannot be all, eh? You have to be one. It's depending on the day. No, we're looking at it wholesomely, eh? If you just sat down like this, where are you right now? Oh, nice. Amber heading to green. Eh, okay, red. Esther is in amber. Hey, Winnie, you are red, eh? It's okay. Talk red, okay. Negative red. Okay. Very, very, very red, guys. Wow. And I hear you, I hear all of you, and I don't think money shall come on a short stories. I hear you, and I don't think anyone gets to the point where they can just say, okay, now I am green and I am okay. It's a journey and it just doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of investment when it comes to time, when it comes to knowledge, and actually when it comes even to yourself, learning and unlearning some of the things that you have known over time. So if you're feeling that you're in the red and you're feeling like you're in the amber, then this session is for you. We are hoping to see FK even on upload better. I hear you. So we're trying to make this very practical, and that's why I was saying, first things first. If you're feeling you're in the red zone, you're in the amber zone, I need you to actually commit to yourself, either this evening or by the end of this week, to sit down and do something very uncomfortable to face your M-Pesa statements, either your bank statements or wherever your money usually sits. I need you to actually sit down and assess, because that's what is actually going to tell you how well or how badly you're doing. If you look at your M-Pesa statement, it will tell you where all your money has been going and how all the money came in. And why I need you to do this is because I want us to go through a process of planning of our finances, but you can only plan after you've identified where your problem is. And remember, I've said one of the problems that we have for all of us is that our money is disappearing because it does not have direction. It does not know where to go. It comes in and goes where it wants to go. And it has all these places where it is creeping. And I want us to cover all those holes. So first things first, you first need to assess what's your level of income. We all know how much money we get by the end of the month from whichever source that it comes. So I want you to go and sit and assess, okay, monthly, maybe let's do the case of the person who's saying they're making 20,000. Then I want you to go and determine what are these expenses that I incur on a monthly basis. And the only way for you to do that is to look at your M-Pesa statement. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do because you start realizing how you're spending money on things that were might have been important, but maybe they're not urgent, or they are actually not urgent, neither were they important, but you just spent money on it because you were impulsive. And remember, we're saying we are seeking to be rooted and not reckless. So once you've assessed how much money that comes in every month, I need you to assess what are the expenses that you usually incur. So expenses are usually categorized in terms of, is it important? Is it urgent? Is it urgent but not important? And is it important and not and urgent? So important and urgent is something like rent. If you're paying rent in this Nairobi, you know by the fifth or by I don't know second, depending on where you stay, the landlord will be needing the rent. And if they do not get it, the people who will maybe impose a penalty or you need to pay interest for that particular payment. So such expenses, they're important and they are urgent. So they're things that you need to cater to immediately they arrive. So that's one of the things you need to actually go and do. Now categorize those expenses. There's your rent, your utilities. Other expenses could be shopping, beyond groceries. Maybe you're buying yourself something, you went and I saw a shoe somewhere and I bought it. Those are expenses that you incurred, but perhaps they were not important, not urgent, but it was just a good to have, or yeah, your impulses, you gave into your impulses and you did that impulse buy. So I need you to assess the expenses that you're incurring and just assess and categorize them in terms of, in economics, we say order of priority. Then, once you've done that, I need you to actually set a goal. See, money needs to be planned for, but even when you're planning for your finances, you need to have a goal or, okay, what do you want to achieve with this particular plan that you're doing right now? Do you want to clear debt? Perhaps you are in a space where you owe for Lisa, Tala, all these mobile app borrowing platforms. You owe all these people, or you owe your friends, or you just have debts. So maybe your goal would be from today henceforth, I need to be more serious with my finances because one, I need to clear my debts. Then maybe your goal is to travel, or maybe you want to fund school, or maybe you want to fund the FoC mission and you want us to go and not do a fundraiser and just, clear that for us and we go for mission. We don't need to be stressing people to raise money. Let's just have a goal for why you are setting up this plan. Because unless you have been rooted in something that you're pursuing, then you will just fall by the wayside. So I need you to set a goal, like why you doing this, like why you coming up with this plan. Then now, once you set the goal, now this is now where we actually detail out the plan. So now you tell your money, I want you to go here. I have this debt of 50,000 or 10,000. So it means I'll be incurring these important expenses that are urgent. And then the money that remains from catering for these expenses, then this amount is supposed to go to clearing this debt or saving towards my studies or, raising funds for the ministry or traveling. I personally love traveling. So I'll always have a goal of this month I need to set aside money to travel. Then, after you've actually created that plan and told your money where to go, you will now, on a regular basis, start tracking the expenses. I know this is something that you will listen to, and maybe after tonight you'll not go and do it. But for those who will actually take this seriously and apply this to their life, you will see a change. And as I've told you, to be a very uncomfortable thing to do, to sit down with the paper statement and a bank statement, because it will tell you who you are. There's someone who once said that, um, the word says that where your treasure is, that's where your heart is also. Or now in finance, we say where your money goes says what is important to you. So if you're saying what is important to you is studies, but you've been spending 50% of your income on uh, side quests or mm, doing other things other than studies, then it tells you that is not your priority. So just go do that exercise and start tracking your expenses, and you'll actually see a change in how your finances actually work. There's a rule when it comes to budgeting or saving or when you're setting up that plan. So you see, we said you need to determine your expenses, then you need to set a goal and create a plan. So the easiest way for you to know how to structure your finances is the 50, 30, and 20 rule. So the rule usually is very simple. So 50% of your income should be going to your needs. So basically your food, your housing, utilities, transport, your day to day, things that are meant to sustain you on a day to day. Like without these things are gonna go very, very wrong, very, very fast. Then 30%, because I mean, you'll not just be here putting all these bills for your needs and not enjoying life. Part of the income, 30% now should can go to your wants in terms of what are the hobbies that you have, subscriptions, if you're is it Spotify or I don't know, YouTube Premium, whatever you're subscribing to that maybe it's you saying or it's maybe let me see, you're paying for these online courses or something like that, the 30% can go towards that. Then 20% is meant to either go to your savings or investment. So 20% will either go to you setting up an emergency fund or you setting up money in a special fund for growing. But the principle is the 50, 30, 20. So even when you're coming up with this plan and you're looking at your income, for example, my income is 20,000. So 50% of that will be 10,000. So I know 10,000 should go to my needs. So if I need to live in Nairobi and my salary is 20,000, I cannot live in certain areas. I need to live within my means. I cannot now just decide, oh, let me go rent an apartment in Kilimani or Ngong Road or where Loresho and places like that. I'll actually need to, you know, take the humble pie and be like, hey, maybe I can't afford to live in those areas. I need to live within my means. Meaning, I need to live in an area where I can comfortably pay rent for probably less than 10,000. So the rest caters for my food and my utilities. And then the 30% now can, or you can reduce your 30% of one to, if you want, if maybe now you wanting to live in that particular area, the part of the 30% can go to, because now that's a want, so that's not a need, can go to maybe you putting part of that bill of living in the area that you want to live. But most importantly, have an amount that goes towards your savings. And so I just put this question here because I think it was one of the questions that was raised. Someone asked, should I save everything now and then enjoy later? And I will say this, you need to have a balance. God did not call us to reckless enjoyment or fearful hoarding, but He requires us to actually enjoy this life and enjoy it responsibly. So you can have the trips, you can have your hobbies, you can enjoy good food, you can gift your friends, but ensure you're not doing this under debt because of pressure from people or for you to maintain a fake lifestyle or competing with people out there. So, yes, I would encourage you to save. I will encourage you to have that proper plan that sets aside a specific amount of money towards you building an emergency fund. But even when you're doing that, we already said there's a 30% that goes to your one. And you see, saving does not have to be a huge amount. You can even just be saving 1,000 or even 100 shillings every month. What saving does is that it builds that discipline so that you'll be able to get to a level that now you can start investing. Because saving and investing is very different. So saving is meant to build a discipline. And once you've gained that discipline, now you can convert your savings into an investment profile, which now grows and helps you build your wealth. Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it will earn it. He who doesn't will pay it. Will someone care to expound what they think this actually means? Now one of you needs to unmute. Don't type this out, please. Or I just call on someone. Let me see who's in this meeting. Immaculate. What do you think this actually means? Immaculate, can you hear us? Okay. Let me pick on someone I know. Hi, George. Reru. What do you think by when Einstein said those who don't understand it, those who understand it will earn it, but those who don't will pay it?
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm okay.
Okay. That's what.
So the quote is on the screen. Compound interest is the eighth one of the world. He who
Mm.
understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it.
Is it about a loan and wealth?
Okay, we're somewhere, we're somewhere. Agnes?
Mm.
Hi, I'm
Uh,
not sure, but in my thinking,
mhm,
I'm thinking in terms of a loan and a saving kind of. So, like you see, the interest. If you understand how a compound interest works, like
mhm,
in your savings, it generates money for you.
yes.
And if you don't, like for people who take loans,
Mhm,
you pay the compound interest. Like they keep on accumulating.
mhm,
That's the dynamic I am getting.
yes. Thank you so much, Agnes. It's exactly that. If you don't understand compound interest, you will end up paying, and it's a wonder of the world. When you look at a loan, you'll have the principal amount, and then there'll be the interest that is compounding over time before you finally offset that loan, and you'll realize at the very end you'll have probably paid double the value of whatever you were given. So you made money for the bank. Then on the other hand, if you now put that money in maybe an investment account, a money market or a fixed income or one of these special funds, you will realize that instead of you paying that interest, the investment account will earn you the compound interest, and it will now double your initial value by maybe by a period of like 10, maybe 10 to 12 years. So those who understand how compound interest works will earn from it. But if you don't, you'll end up being the one paying it. So that was just meant to juxtapose the difference between investing and incurring debt. So I wanted to do a lot around this, but I decided to make it a bit simple because I don't think we have enough time. But when it comes to investing, so I'll make a distinction. Saving is, as I told you, it's someone has put it there, haba haba hujaza kibaba. So saving is you gradually building uh, your discipline as you set aside money for a rainy day. Hence, when you say you're setting up an emergency fund, what saving does is that amount that you'll have accumulated over time, once it has grown to a level where now you can transfer it to a place that now earns you better compounding interest, now we will have said, now you're investing. I don't know if that makes a difference to you guys, but investing simply means growing your wealth. It's not just earning interest, it's growing your wealth, and it's what Einstein said. enjoying the benefits of compounding interest. So when it comes to investing, there are usually different profiles to investments. It could be low risk, medium, high, and then there's very high risk. And it's always said the higher the risk, the higher the return. However, we said we're not being reckless, we're being rooted. When it comes to some of the profiles that some of the options that you have in, I think, the Kenyan market, some of the low risk options are the money market funds, and there are a myriad of them. Like if you just go online right now and just check money market funds, you'll find so many of them. And I'll probably share with Leslie. I think there's a time I did like slides for the different um, investment options that you can consider in Kenya. It even had links. I will share that with her for your reference. But for money market funds, you have Vinele, PAC, is it KCB? There are so many options. So it's a very low risk fund because they mostly invest in short term instruments, meaning they will actually invest in the treasury bills and the treasury bonds and also fixed deposits. And it will earn you a return that is slightly higher than the inflation rate. So give you things like 8% or 9% net of taxes. It's a good fund to start with when you're building an emergency fund. So if you're saving, you can either save under, I don't know, Mshwari or nowadays there's ZD on the M-Pesa platform, or transfer that once it has grown to a good level to now a money market fund, put it in COC, Zinele, Nabo, all these that are out there. And the interesting thing is the starting amount is so little, like you can, even if you decide maybe to save gradually over time, because I think the starting is like, even there are those who even do it like 1,000 or 5,000, and it's something that you can actually get access to and start enjoying the benefits of compounding interest. Then the other low risk instrument is treasury bills or treasury bonds. So bills are usually short term papers issued by the Central Bank of Kenya, and they last for a period of I think 90 to 120 days. And bonds will maybe now go for a longer period in terms of it could be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So this is bonds are longer. It's a long-term instrument. Bills are a short-term instrument. Then fixed deposits simply money you put in the bank in a fixed deposit account earns you interest of like 2-3% net of taxes. That yeah you enjoy because you put your money in a fixed deposit. For someone who's starting out, highly recommend if you're saving, save under money market fund or a money market fund that will help you grow gradually. And then once you have, gotten your momentum and you have gained your discipline, then you can move your money to either a bill or a bond. And it's very easy to access them nowadays. Everything you can do it online. Just get a CDC Do account and you're able to just buy them by yourself. You don't even need a broker. Then medium risk or growth steady. These ones include SACCOs and pension funds. So how SACCOs usually work, and most people will tell you this, the best, if you're getting into a SACCO, please get into it if you're looking to get a loan for investing or growing or appreciating your wealth and not for what is it called, for spending. So SACCOs are very good when it comes to loans because they offer at a lower rate than the current market rate. And also they have the element of you have a level of share capital that you are in there. But the thing about SACCOs is that it locks your funds because essentially you cannot withdraw. And so that's something you should consider if you're considering putting your money in a SACCO, but it's also a very good way to gradually grow your income. Then pension funds, this is basically for your future. And I think if you're employed, perhaps your employer provides you with a scheme or something like that. And unakatwa your NSSF to go towards this for when you finally retire. But even if you're not employed, There are various insurance providers that can actually offer you a pension scheme that you can get onto and start paying like those premiums right now or subscription. No, it's premiums right now before you get to that age of retirement. So that is medium risk because I think partly because these are funds that you cannot access easily, they're locked in there for a period of time. Low risk because it protects your investment and allows you grow over steadily over a short period of time, but also you have access to these funds because I think for money markets, you get your money within 24 to 48 hours, depending on who you have invested with. For the bills, 90 to 120 days, you get your money back. For the bonds, depending with the period of time, but they also do pay, I think, premiums at intervals. The high risk now, this includes NFT stocks, rates, real estate investment trusts, and equity balanced funds. If you want to invest in real estate, agribusiness. So these are more high risk because it requires a level of, it's very volatile. The returns are never like, what's the word for this? They're not, mm, my English is disappearing. They're not assured. Oh, yes, they're not assured. Because for stocks, like you could have done really well today in the market, then tomorrow it dips by like 5%, and then like wipes out half of your portfolio. And then the next time it has doubled or tripled whatever you have in there. So when it comes to this high risk um, investment options, I highly recommend that you do your research properly before you get into any of them. When it comes to real estate, very can be promising and because like yeah, land appreciates and yeah, you can get like premium property somewhere. However, it's quite it's what's the word for this? Closes off your investment because you will not be liquid for a while. So something you can consider before you get into it. So REITs are almost like real estate. It's just that you get like uh, a piece of the pie in terms of like you get a piece of real estate without actually owning the building or the physical asset itself. They usually pay dividends and yeah, I think the tax there should be the taxes are not as high when it comes to it. But what I just mean is just do your research and find what actually works for you. And the very high risk is, running your own business. Being an entrepreneur in this country is not easy. And yeah, those who have run businesses will tell you it's not the easiest game to be in. Then Forex, crypto, yes, please. Very high risk. Please do your research before putting your money in there. But those are some of the investment options that you have as a Kenyan here in Nairobi. So the last thing I wanted us to look at is debt. And I'll start with this disclaimer. Not all debt is bad, but all debt carries a certain level of weight. So some of the things that we will say is bad debt is, for example, if you take a loan for appearances, for you to maybe do an impulse purchase, or just an unnecessary loan, maybe to get the newest model of a car, and your car is just okay, but you just decided, no, I need an upgrade because I need to keep up appearances or something like that. Or yeah, taking up loans to fit your addiction, betting, drugs, or something like that. So that would be bad debt. But there's also useful debt, like towards your education, you're expanding your business, you want to maybe appreciate your assets, something like that. So not all debt is bad, but all debt does carry its weight. Because you remember we said there will be interest that will be tied to that debt, and it is compounding over time. And Proverbs 22:7 actually tells us that the borrower becomes a servant to the lender. And remember, our goal is to be free. We do not want to be held captive by something or someone. And so should be able to build you and not trap you. Okia, you want to say something? Okay. So I just listed a few steps. Maybe if you are currently in debt or do find yourself in debt, some of the steps you can take to get yourself out of that trap or out of that hole are as listed here. So first, you need to come up with a list of everyone you owe. So list up all your debts from the largest to the smallest. Then identify the interest rate. What is the minimum payment needed and what is the due date? And then now start prioritizing and clearing off, the largest debts at the earliest convenience. Then explore different payment methods. Could be the one that you say, like before the money hits my account, just deduct this amount it goes to the loan so that you clear it as soon as possible. Then, yes, as we always say, track your expenses and then try and automate some of those payments. And then finally, just monitor and adjust your plan as needed. So you'll find that this ties to what we started with. Because remember, we said this is what we are going to do this evening or this week. We're going to assess our income, find out what are our expenses, set our goals, and then come up with a plan of where our money is going and track our expenses. So that ties to this. So that plan that you have come up with after doing that is now what will help you either come out of debt or help you achieve your goals. So I wanted to close it at that and allow for questions because I know you have a lot of questions. I open it up for questions, then we can close. I try to be as brief as I could, guys, because there's a lot to cover when it comes to finances. All right, other questions? Mhm. You guys don't have questions? Don't lie.
There's a question on the chat. Someone had asked, unless you tackled.
Sorry, just a minute. Short.
By Hebi.
Oh, by Hebi. So is it wrong to take a loan and invest in an MMF or special fund? If loan inakulipa 6% na au if loan unalipa 6% na MMF unapata interest ya 10%. This is what we call this is like it's not a gamble, but I have seen some people actually do this where maybe there's an infrastructure bond being floated and people are like, I need to get that bond because it's gonna give me maybe an interest of like 18% and I'm paying this loan maybe interest of 10%. So like you're doing the difference, you're like, I'll be making maybe 6% or what maybe okay 5 to 6% from that particular transaction. So is it wrong? What I will say is it requires a lot of um, what's the word for this? You need to be very strategic about it because otherwise you'll have ended up maybe taking a loan that you cannot service if the fund or whatever you're investing in does not give you the return that you're expecting. Because an MMF can tell you it's going to give you an interest of 10%, but I think most of them roughly should be 8 to 9% net of tax. And if you're taking, what's the word? Okay, maybe 8 9%. So it'll probably like make maybe 2% out of it. So in my opinion, I don't think it is wrong, but you need to be very strategic about it and ensure that you don't end up wiping out your investment or not being able to service that particular loan. Because you remember we said that can actually be considered to be useful debt because you want to maybe grow or appreciate um, your what? Because that's not appreciating an asset. Perhaps you just want to grow your wealth in a way. But I feel like it's also a gamble. So I would just say tread cautiously. I think that also covers your question, Dan. Okay. No one wants to unmute and ask their question. Hmm. Yes, Alicia.
Okay, my question is, what if you do everything right? Sorry about my voice.
Mm-hmm.
You do everything right. You plan, you budget, you tithe, and have a little saving. And then by the mid-month, you so broke, you go back to your savings to get whatever little you left there. It take you through the month. You've done your ultimate best. You budgeted well, done everything accordingly, yet you
Mm-hmm.
still find yourself in the same place. What do you do then?
Like when you have to go back to your savings, my question would be why
Yeah,
isn't did something come up that was not foreseen that now it has led to you maybe your expenses now going above what you had expected?
not
Or
really
what
what, just like life happens. Some, not anything out of the ordinary. You've done like you've budgeted. This is all I have to do. This is
happened?
what I have, and this is what I have to do with it. And yet, even you go back and still find yourself in debt or either borrowing or going back to your savings.
I hear you, but my question still will be because when I'm setting up my plan of okay, fine, this is because when you're doing your budget, you're telling your money where it needs to go, and you know exactly where your money has been going. So savings, remember we said, are meant for a rainy day or for something that happens that perhaps you had not foreseen, and you will need to tap into it to resolve it. You might, plan all these things and do everything right. And I acknowledge that there are instances where things may not go your way or things might, you know, things happen, like might get a crisis or there's something that happens in your family that will require you to perhaps go into your savings, which is okay as long as, it's not something like was I'm trying to find a word for this. It wasn't for an impulsive decision, basically. If it's not for an impulsive decision, then these things happen, and I do feel like it's okay. You can go into your savings because as long as you've learned that discipline, you will still um, save your money back. I don't know if that answers you.
It is. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. Okay, I take it there are no more questions. Huh? So there's a question. I think that Leslie had shared with me. I think I've covered most of them. There's someone who said, Maybe I'll just go through them as I reiterate what you've gone through in today's presentation. So, where do I even begin with managing my money? Answer to that is by having a plan. Sit down, assess where you are at, then come up with a plan of how to move you forward and help you get to where you want to go. Then how much should I be saving versus spending? I think we've covered that, the 50-30-20 rule. Then do I really need a budget and how do I make one that I'll actually follow? We all need budgets. Huh? Otherwise, your money will go where it wants to go. The best way to do this, if you are, for those who like Excel, you can put it on an Excel, track expenses for the month, and do your budget on an Excel. If you're old school, you can do it on a piece of paper, in your notebook, in your journal, somewhere. But just have a plan of how you're using your money for either, you can even start like this week, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, for a full month. How are you gonna spend your money? But having a budget essentially is just meant to guide your money where it should go. Because money has a mind of its own. It goes where it wants to go. Then um, is having multiple income streams necessary in the economy that we are living in? Yes. In terms of you could start a side hustle or just have money somewhere that it's earning interest or just giving you a return. Because yeah, this economy cannot survive on one income stream, guys. Then why does money disappear so fast? I never seem to have enough money. So money disappears very, very fast when you have not assessed or told it where to go. If you sit down and actually assess your expenses, you will realize there are things that you spent on that probably you did not need, that probably could have been avoided. And that's what I was saying. It's a very uncomfortable thing to actually sit down and do this exercise, but it's something that you need to do. Yeah, without pain, there's no growth. Yeah, so just do that assessment and just see where your money has been going, because how you've been spending will tell you. So that at times, you might have to sacrifice that hangout with your friends because you don't have the money, and it is okay. Learn to be okay with not being part of every other event or social gathering. I know FOMO kills us, but sometimes we need to learn how to live within our means and, if possible, even below our means if you want to grow. Because it's for a period of time, then you'll be able to, once you've gotten that discipline, you've grown your wealth, then you'll get the freedom to do all these things that you wanted to do. Then let me see another question, maybe that I did not address. So someone asked, when should I start saving? Oh, when should I start investing? The best time for you to have started investing was yesterday, but today is a better option as well. So if you did not start yesterday, then you might as well start today. And do you need a lot of money to invest? No. You can start with as low as 1,000 or even 5,000 and gradually grow it through compound interest. Then what's safer? Saving in a bank or investing in stocks? Definitely saving in a bank, but if you're building an investment profile, highly recommend putting it in one of the funds. Stocks, quite volatile, not the safest place to invest in, but does give very good returns. Just know how to assess the market well. And if you're not very conversant with these things, speak to someone to guide you through it, because now it's even at a very, it's in our hands. You can do this and the Safaricom app and just buy shares through, is it called, what, ZD something? I've forgotten the name, but yeah, you can invest in stocks just from your phone. Then Someone said, how do I deal with peer pressure to spend? That's a hard one. But remember we said, let me just go back here. Uh, please, when you're doing this plan, have a goal. Because when you have a goal and you are determined to achieve that goal, then nothing should faze you. You'll be like, okay, fine, guys, I'll miss out on this, but my goal is to, be a millionaire or something in the next few years, and if I need to get there, then these are sacrifices I need to make. So yeah, you guys enjoy now, but yeah, tutapatana huko mbele. Then I feel behind compared to people my age. Where should I start from? Remember I said, okay, I did not say this, but it's a quote. Comparison is a thief of joy. Trust me, everyone's path is very, very different. How your friend might be, driving that car right now or living in that luxurious life right now, but your path perhaps was not that. And what affects most young people is you want your life to be like someone else's. But God has specifically carved out your path in this life, and it's not similar to any other person's path. Like once you get grasping of that concept, you will live a very happy life. Like I'm like, oh, fine, my friends are doing this, we're doing that, but that is the path of the Lord has given unto them. This is mine, and I am grateful for it. And First Timothy 6:1, godliness and contentment will be of great gain to you, which will give you a lot of peace. You are not behind. You are not, you know, derailed in your life. You are where you need to be, and the Lord has, better plans for you. And actually trust in that, and trust in Him who has placed that in your heart. Then there's a question here. Oh, thanks. It was ZD Trader. From Moses, he says, what's my take on lending? Case in point, you have your budget, things are going well. However, your friend keeps borrowing you left and right. Should you say no in order to stick to your budget because their needs will never end, or what? Basically, how do you handle constant borrowing from you? So, this is not, um, this is just my principle. I only lend money to friends that I am okay. Because you see, the thing about lending money to friends is the fact that there is the risk of they might never pay me back, and it might end up ruining a friendship or something like that. But my principle is always, I will only give you money that I'm comfortable losing, and that is within the what my budget essentially. If it's not within it, and I cannot actually be able to give you, I can give what I can, but if completely cannot meet or match the amount that you want, then I will, tell you, no, it's not possible. And it's not out of a bad heart, it's just that perhaps you just cannot help your friend. But if it's like a very dire need, probably I'll go out of my way to ensure that I come through for my friend. But there are those ones who are just like, hey, this one, the money is not going to not to a worthy cause, but you can just tell they're borrowing for something that is just not important. So you need to learn the art of saying no, and not in a bad way. And it's very hard to do. But yes, do what you can within your means. If it is not within your means, then just say no. Yeah, that may sound actually quite harsh, but yeah. So sending or spending money is not telling it where to go. Rather, budgeting and planning with a goal is telling money, yes, where to go. Yes, very good. I agree, 100%. Yeah, I think I'm done with the questions on my end, unless there's one more person who has a question, or yes, I wouldn't want to close it off to anyone because I want us to close. We are I think 14 minutes past time. All right. I take silence to mean no more questions. So I think with that, we can close so that I release you to the rest of the evening, and yeah, I also get home. So thank you so much for making out time. I do hope you got out having learned something, and you will actually go sit down and come up with a plan for your finances and start tracking your expenses and setting goals, because without proper structure, you will not achieve anything. So I hope this was not just hearsay, but it is hearing and doing, and you'll actually go forth and do something about your finances, and you'll be rooted and not reckless. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you till we meet again. I will pray to close the session, then you can hand over to the chair. Let's believe and pray. Holy, holy God Almighty, creator of all that is good, we come before your throne of grace this evening, hearts full of gratitude for you have spent time in the study of how to better manage our finances. Lord, we acknowledge that higher than the highest human thought can reach is your ideal for us, and we trust that you have good plans for us and you shall help us achieve them through and through. And Lord, you will grant us the discipline and help us, O Lord, and grant us wisdom on how best to manage that which you have given to us. Teach us how to be good stewards, O Lord, and most importantly, grant us opportunities and avail us that which we need to fulfill both our daily needs and to grow in the years to come. Lord, we fully trust in you, and we know that we shall remain blessed as we trust in you, and we shall be as a tree that is planted by the waters, and no heat shall fail us, O Lord, and we shall not be doubtful of the seasons of drought, for we shall continue to bear fruit as we remain rooted in you. Abide with us, O Lord, and keep us for this night, is almost honestly in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much. Leslie, over to you.